The way y'all keep coming with excuses as to why these nail shops and other Asian businesses and restaurants and stuff are empty, y'all really don't believe that when black people set their minds to it, that they can actually stick to it and make differences. But then again, yes, y'all do. It's why y'all try so hard to convince us, like white supremacists have always done for so many years, that it doesn't matter when we unify, when clearly it does. But to see y'all writing all these excuses, it's a Monday, oh, it's still too early, or it's this, or maybe just people are standing on their word, black people, and keeping their money in black businesses.
Right. Asian man that came on TikTok talking about how black people can go ahead and boycott their businesses, whether it's beauty supply stores and nail salons, and how they can just go over to the white neighborhoods and get money from them. Okay, then go do that. Because if it was so easy for you to be in those neighborhoods, then why weren't you over there to begin with? It's strategically placed for beauty supply stores, nail salons, and liquor stores to be placed in the black community because you know that's where all the money's going to come from. The Asian man that came on TikTok and said what he said is a prime example of why black people are boycotting to begin with. They're just exposing what we've always known, this secret weird hatred, this secret weird animosity towards us when we've done nothing to you. I saw another young lady on TikTok talking about how there was xenophobia that was being pushed towards Asian community when Donald Trump had first got elected and Asians were getting beat up in broad daylight. And she was talking about how when Asians were talking about POC solidarity and black people came to their aid, but now it's shoes on the other foot, they're nowhere to be found. It's our problem and it's our fault. Which is exactly why black people are boycotting, because we recognize that we can have solidarity for everybody else, but nobody can have solidarity when it comes to us and our community.
Man, what? Like, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I did it like it hadn't been there that long, but I came up here the other day and stood across the street and got some shots.
This is crazy. Awesome. Like, how bold could you be?
I know. You wouldn't think it. It's like I didn't even see it. I saw somebody else out here standing up here looking at it. And I was walking down that sidewalk over there. And I was like,
it's like premeditated because it's like we just got the verdict from the Cyrus Department Hilton. There's no way you could have done that.
And that there, you guys, is the prime reason why we need to stand firm in what it is we're doing when it comes to these Asian businesses that are within our communities. This type of shit right here. They don't care. They don't care. They're only in an uproar right now. It's because they see that their shit is about to blow up. They see the money coming out of their community left and right. They can see it happening. They know that they are too dependent on the black dollar for their businesses to thrive, for their businesses to sustain. That's why they're so outraged with knowing that we are doing a ban of their businesses. Because it's not even a boycott. We're not even doing boycott no more. So let's take boycott out of our vocabulary right now. This is a ban. And a ban means we will be no longer engaging with any of their businesses that are within our communities. Any of them. This is the shit right here that tells us they could care less about anything that's going on in society surrounding their community. Because how do we have a business that feels okay to have such a image on the window of their establishment? On the window of their establishment. Like, this shit is bold as fuck. North Carolina, who owns this business? Who owns this business, North Carolina? We need to know who owns this business. Drop it in the comments if you know who is the owner of this business. We need to have a conversation. We need to understand what was your intention with this? Because I don't want to hear no shit about it's a joke. It's a play on a movie. I think it's a play on Don't Be a Menace to Society, one of the parodies movies by the Wayans brothers. I believe that's where that comes from. Yeah, y'all don't get to play with us like that. None of y'all get to play with us like that. See, y'all have gotten too comfortable. And we've allowed y'all to get too comfortable. We've allowed y'all to get too comfortable thinking that y'all can play with us because we put it in our music. We put certain things in our music the imagery that we depict in movies, etc. Y'all think because y'all can consume it that y'all can cosplay and act like you about that life. Yeah, y'all, even as a Black community, we need to be careful at the type of imagery that we're putting out here. Because then we encounter bullshit like this, and they're going to easily have a way out or a excuse. They're going to be excused. Their apology is going to be riddled with, I had a lapse in judgment. I've consumed this type of, I've supported the Black community. I've seen this movie. I've seen that movie. I've purchased the music. I paid to go to concerts. Because we let them in too freely. We let them into our spaces too freely. That this is the type of thanks that we get. A fucking slap in the face. This is wild. This is insane. If you're in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina to be exact, who owns this business? Drop it in the comments if y'all are familiar with this business from the Greensboro, North Carolina area. And when did that signage go up? When did that imagery go up on that window? Because based off of that video, it's come up recently. And to know what is going on in their neighboring state, right above them in South Carolina, right below them in South Carolina, you knew exactly what you were doing when you put that shit on that window. Drop in the comments, y'all, and let's talk about it. Because we need to know who the owner is of this business and when that shit went up in that window. Let's talk about it.
Let me just start by saying rest in peace to Cyrus Carmack Belton, who was unalived by Rick Chow. And Rick Chow got off, was acquitted. I'm already hot about that, okay? That is the springboard with a lot of the reason why there's so much outrage by the Black community and why a lot of people in the Black community are saying we're boycotting Chinese businesses, all right?
Just wanted to give y'all a friendly update. Cajuns is slow. It is at lunchtime. People are not playing about boycott right now. I do love Cajuns, but I'm a boycott with my people. I've had no bad experiences there, and this whole strip is still slow. Y'all think it's a game. Y'all better wake the fuck up. Okay? Very, very slow. Y'all know this strip usually be packed.
Y'all come with me on this good Saturday morning and let's see how this Asian beauty store, nail store, food store boycott is going since they dared us, since they said they want to see us not support them, since we need them so much. This is what I saw at the first stop. They standing outside. They like, where the Black people at? So I rolled over to the next place where I usually shop here. I'm not even gonna lie, this is my favorite place for the last 10 years. But let me show you, this is not normal on a Saturday morning. No, ma'am. All of it over there is usually filled, okay? It's even usually going into other people's parking spaces, businesses' parking spaces. This is not normal, y'all. So good job. Even the nail salon down the street is empty. It was a few coons in there, but for the most part, empty.
We need to invest in our community, invest in our Black-owned establishments. That's what we need to do. All right. Now, I'm just going to talk about, because, I'm going to put my accounting hat on for a second. So please indulge me. All right. And I'm going to talk about our spending power as Black people, because I think it's very important that we know this. All right. So let's just get into this. Please indulge me for a second here, because we as Black people have major economic power. All right. That's why I started with Black Americans have economic power. You see the stars, you see the exclamation mark. So let's just talk about Black America's spending power. 1.8 trillion in annual spending power. And this was just as of 2024. 48 million plus Black Americans are driving the economy. All right. 200 plus billion in Black-owned businesses potential by 2030. Okay, this is the growth. We are one of the most influential consumer markets in the world. Did you hear what I said? In the world. Okay, our dollars Our community, our future. What happens when we
Hey, Black Americans, have you noticed that throughout this Asian shop owner boycott that we got going on, you got a bunch of Asians popping up saying, "What? Wait a minute, Rick Chow, he's not the same type of Asian that I am. I'm Japanese, I'm Cambodian, I'm Vietnamese, I'm all this stuff." Interesting, but you told us that we were just black. That I was the same as a Haitian or a freaking Jamaican, that I don't have my own separate lineage group, my own ethnic identity. You know, whenever you mention reparations, you'll get white people saying, well, I'm part Native, so and you shouldn't get it. Were you a part of the tribes who owned black slaves? I was a part of a different tribe. Or you get them saying, I'm Irish. And they mention that whole Irish slave bullshit. So every other group out there can distinguish themselves by ethnicity. But suddenly, when it comes to Black Americans, we can't. No. Either you respect my damn ethnicity or I hold you all in the same group. Pick one.
I'm going to say this, man, but this Asian boycott should be permanent. There shouldn't be no 2-month trend and then we back buying their bullshit like we did with H&M, we did with Target and all of these stores. This should be permanent. These people has been disrespecting black people for the longest time. This is not new. They've been doing it. There has been shooting black child in their head. There has been shooting black child in their back. This is not their first rodeo. They've been doing it. You feel me? They take the most from the black community when you really think about it. Most of the stores is set up in the black community. Most of the store. All over the fucking world, if you really think about it. In Africa, they're there. In Jamaica, they're there. They're everywhere. Leeching. Acting as if they're doing black people some type of service by selling plastic rice, selling clothes that will fucking burn you, that will fucking get you sick, give you cancer, selling hair product that will give you cancer. So they do sell black people the bottom of the barrel when it comes to product. They don't sell black people the good shit. They sell black people the fucked up shit. And they purposely sabotage black businesses. They make sure to sell black businesses the stuff at a higher price. So whenever black people try to sell it back to other black people, they can't afford it. So they end up have to come back to the Chinaman to buy it, because they do it on purpose. They've been doing this shit, man. So this boycott should be permanent. This shouldn't be no temporary fix. This should be a permanent fix. This also going to highlight more black businesses. One, this will help black people health even more, because they be selling plastic rice. That ain't good for your health. They be selling fucking jankro, pigeon, disguised as chicken. They be selling fucking all kind of bullshit disguised as food. So black people should take this as a lesson and take this as a blessing in disguise, man. Use this opportunity to uplift, promote black businesses, and move better from here.
Boycotting Asian businesses isn't the primary way to bring about change. Before you come at me, black people, please listen to the rest of this post. But first, I have to address the Asians. Asians, did you know your fear and hatred of black people isn't your own? You've been brainwashed. Well, more accurately, your great-great-great-granddaddy has been brainwashed. But I'll get into that history lesson. First, current statistics. Did you know most violent crimes committed are by people of the same race? Meaning, white on white crime. Hispanic people against Hispanic people, black people against black people, Asians against Asians. The only exception to this are Native Americans. They tend to not go around hurting each other. However, Asians, do you know what the most violent group towards you is race-wise outside of yourselves? It's not black people. Let me give you a moment. It's white people in the form of hate crimes. So why are you so scared and fearful of black people then? Well, let me tell you, because your granddaddy wanted to come over here and they said, bet, but you have to work. You have to own your own business. They said, no problem. So they went to the bank and they said, may we get a loan? We want to open up a business in this neighborhood. And the bank said, you're not opening up a business in our white neighborhood, whatever they called Asians at that time. But guess what? We will give you a loan though, but you have to open up in this neighborhood. Black communities. And that is why to this day there's so many Asian restaurants, beauty supply stores, nail salons in black neighborhoods, because they gave them loans to open up there. And then the government or power who be said, we are going to call them the model minority, because look how hardworking they are. Not only are they hardworking, they own businesses in neighborhoods where lazy, blah, 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 black people don't have themselves. And you guys brought into it. Well, your great-great-great-granddaddy did. And what they left out was, but we gave you loans to do that where we wouldn't give them to the Black people who live in that neighborhood. And that is why you own businesses when they don't. It's not that they don't want to work. It's not that they didn't want to open up their own shops. It's that they couldn't get the loan to do so, whereas you did. And when you didn't get it from the bank, you went to your own country and got loans as well, which, we were kind of stolen. We don't have that kind of connection back at home anymore. So we were out. So that is how you got to believe you were better than everybody else. Not true. You had a leg up. And that just trickles down. And why does that, matter today? Because your great-great-great-granddaddy believed it, told your great-great-granddaddy, who told your granddaddy, who told Rick Chow, who told Andy, who chased Cyrus out of that convenience store after he stood there and calmly was accused of stealing and told them no 2 times and then just walked out. And Andy chased him, knowing he didn't steal anything, not knowing there was a gun on him, chased him for the length of a football field plus, and then unalive that boy. Kid, child, 14-year-old. All because of what happened when this country was set up. And why is this relevant? Now I'm talking to my Black people again, with the Asians and all our allies, because re-education is also needed. If you want to boycott, let's boycott. You see my hair, it's natural, it's 4C. I don't care. I can braid it myself. I can drive an extra 30 minutes to go get the hair from a Black-owned shop. That is not a problem. However, education is important. And I used this illustration before on another video. In the game of chess, the Black pieces and the white pieces are enemies. But the people moving the pieces, they are generally friends. When we are done destroying each other on this board, they're going to shake hands, congratulate each other, and go open a cold beer on the golf course. We are fighting against each other, not checking who's pulling the strings. And that is why my history lesson is important. Asians, you've been brainwashed. Black people, we've been erased from our history. And in addition to whatever boycotts we are going to do, we also need to do education, because if this hate and this fear has been passed down generations, we can start undoing it for the generations to come.
There is a lot of rising tension between the Asian and Black American community, with Black Americans saying, let's boycott some Asian businesses, and Asian Americans saying, stop attacking our people. And this is all being caused due to the acquittal of Rick Chow in the murder of Cyrus Carmack Belton. And it's upsetting seeing this divide occur, because we should all be, with each other in solidarity as minorities, right? I think we can all agree that Rick Chow should be in prison. He shot and murdered a 14-year-old boy. However, why are we combating that with racism against one another? In my opinion, the only person that wins as the result of us attacking each other, us unfairly discriminating against Black Americans unfairly discriminating against Asian Americans, are the bigots that support Rick Chow being found not guilty. One man's actions should not justify demonizing an entire community. Calling in fake orders to Asian restaurants and boycotting small Asian businesses is not the answer. Do I discriminate against everybody from Vermont because Chester Arthur is the one that signed the Chinese Exclusion Act? No, I think that's unreasonable. I like Bernie. I hope some justice is served for Cyrus Carmack Belton and his family finds peace.
This message is for the Asian community, because I felt the need to take a moment and make a video just letting you all know that what's going on right now, that there's a lot of Black people that don't stand for it and they don't think that it's okay. What I'm referring to is this recent Cyrus and Chow case and how people are having reactions to the verdict. And there's a small percentage of us that are trying to take out their frustration on the Asian community. So it compelled me to make a video just to let y'all know there's a lot of Black people that ain't standing for that. Unfortunately, there's some very hypocritical and, I'm not afraid to say, racist voices in the Black community that think that it's somehow okay to penalize unrelated Asian people to a case involving one man in a tragic decision that he made. I've seen them talking about boycotting Asian-owned businesses in retaliation for the decision that they don't agree with. And I just want you to know there's plenty of Black people that don't agree with that. So we're going to have your backs and we're going to try and fight to keep this from happening, because Black people should know better than anyone that what they're talking about doing is blatant racism. Throughout my life, I've had some good Asian friends. Even as of today, I got Asian business partners that help me out with some clients. I've played basketball with Asian people. I've admired the culture. I studied martial arts. I have family members, my mom, some of her good friends. They're Asian, and I may be off on saying that, but they even paid to take her on vacation one time because they own a nail shop. So one of the last things that I'm going to allow to happen is for people to come in and penalize you and everything that your family has worked for just because they're unsatisfied with the verdict. Like, I don't think that's right. I don't stand for it. I think it's a ridiculous concept. And I know there's other black people out there that feel the same way. So I'm asking for your help because I just need a small favor. If there's any of you watching this that happen to have black friends, or you just know reasonable black people that might have the same sentiments that I do, if you could just send them this video or something, because ultimately what I want to do is I want to develop a community of like-minded, reasonable black people that know that what some black people are talking about doing right now is completely wrong, and it's not something that we stand for, and it's not something that represents us.
When I was growing up, I had an Asian friend, right? And his dad never let me in the house. Now, he did let other people in the house. Now, I'm going to let you figure out what was the differentiator between me and the people that were allowed to go in his house. Now, the argument's going to be his dad was just going off of what was fed to him growing up through, media or whatever, right? That's why he had an issue with a black person being in his house. I find it funny that we infantilize other groups of people when it comes to calling out anti-blackness, right? Asians make up 41% of Harvard's incoming freshman class. Do you want me to believe that this group of people is just so oblivious to blackness outside of what they've been taught about black people growing up? Because explain the second generation Asians that are also racist, right? Are you going to blame it on their need to be in proximity to whiteness and proximity to white supremacy? Or perhaps maybe other people of color are just anti-black because they're just anti-black. You tell me. There are Asians who have grown up in this country that are anti-black. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. And again, disclaimer, it's not every Asian. It is not, I'm gonna probably put it here. It is not every Asian. But it just seems like every day there is something new when it comes to a group of people expressing their anti-blackness. There's always someone, right? Today it's Asian people. Tomorrow it's gonna be another group, right? It's like, hey, what is going on? Someone tell me.
It is not racist to boycott Asian businesses when so many Asians are more outraged and vocal about boycotts than an unjust verdict about Cyrus Carmack Belton due to racial profiling. And that says a lot about where people's priorities are at. When the verdict was announced, many people, including myself, were grieving and expressing how disappointed we were. Only a few Asians spoke up, 10 max. Instead of holding space for that grief, many black people were met with anti-black comments such as dehumanizing Cyrus by calling him a thug or a monkey, bringing up Stop Asian hate crimes to justify the verdict despite having no connection whatsoever, and perpetuating racist stereotypes of black people. So if you combine the fact that many people feel justice was not served, Rick Chow is a free man, not enough Asians were speaking up about this verdict, and black people were receiving an immense amount of anti-black comments while simply grieving this tragedy, what did you expect the reaction to be? I am pissed off that so many of you lack empathy and humanity to the point your response is anti-black rhetoric and ignorance instead of accountability. And our community doesn't consistently call out anti-blackness. When we don't make our spaces safe for black people, and when we continue to dogpile black people while expecting their support whenever it's convenient for us, why are you shocked that black people are frustrated with our community? A lot of you are more concerned about black dollars than black lives, more concerned about businesses than black children who are harmed, lose their lives, and are failed by the very systems that are supposed to protect them. Boycotting Asian businesses is a consequence of anti-blackness. It is up to us as a community to confront it, instead of pretending it doesn't exist. This is exactly why the Asian community needs to have more conversations about unpacking anti-blackness and understanding why racial profiling another person of color, especially from the Black community, is dangerous. Because when someone walks into your establishment, your first thought should not be racist stereotypes attached to the color of their skin. Your first thought should be that they are a customer and a human being. And if we can't even do that much, then we shouldn't be surprised when people keep calling out anti-blackness within our community. So I don't give a rat's ass what any of you have called me these past few months. Self-hating, anti-Asian, pandering to the Black community. I really don't give a fuck. My priorities will always be with humanity, accountability, and justice. If you truly care about solidarity between our communities, you will spend less time complaining about boycott and more time confronting the anti-blackness to help create this situation in the first place.
I have seen more Asian Americans being upset at the fact that Black Americans are threatening to boycott Asian businesses than I have seen Asian Americans speaking out against the murder of Cyrus Carmick Belton, a child who was murdered at the hands of an Asian man. And this has everything to do with race, especially when anti-blackness is so deeply rooted in our community. I have said this a million times and I'll say it as many times as I need to so you can get it through your thick skulls. The only reason why Asians exist in America in such a large population is because Black activists fought for our right to be here during the Civil Rights Movement. White people did not want us here. It's not enough for Asian people to just be not racist. You have to be anti-racist and you have to be speaking out against these injustices or else they'll continue to happen. We absolutely owe the Black community solidarity, and the sooner that we realize that we're not much different from each other is the sooner that real change starts to happen.
I don't really know where this solidarity came from, and I have never ever, and I've been studying a lot of things, I've looked at a lot of things, I've researched a lot of things. I was not aware that Black people during the Civil Rights Movement were fighting for Asian people to be here inside of the United States of America. As a matter of fact, I'm a huge advocate for abolishing birthright citizenship that was for the descendants of slaves, because I think that too many people in the Asian community, in the European community, in the Hispanic community, in the Mexican community, in the Venezuelan community, in every single community that comes here illegally, I believe that they are taking advantage of a loophole in order to be able to justify them getting citizenship here in the United States of America. But that's neither here nor there. Number one, I'm just wondering, at what point will these panda bears and these people that are basically looking for acceptance from the Black community actually acknowledge that this wasn't a kid, this was a teenager that was carrying a pistol with a laser on it, pointing it on regularly on social media. And more importantly, the reason why he didn't want to show what was inside of his hoodie, because they genuinely thought that he had stole something. He was in the store with no money, in there for over 20 minutes, taking stuff, putting it back, taking stuff, putting it back. And when he was finally confronted, because the actual family had called the police over 200 times over a period of time, they've been threatened. People have been threatening to go to the car. They've been shot at before, the whole 9 yards. The reason why he didn't want to show what was in his hoodie is because he knew it was a gun. So he was stuck between.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing great wherever you are watching us from. Have you noticed what's happening across the neighborhood lately? Stores that were once packed every weekend are suddenly sitting empty. Beauty supply shop, nail salons, restaurant business that were years depending heavily on Black customers are now facing a reality many never expected. And the reason behind it is sparkling a nationwide conversation. For many people, this isn't just about tragic incident. It's about years of frustration, years of feeling unheard, and years of watching the same pattern repeat themselves over and over again. The movement gained momentum after the acquittal of the store owner involved in the shooting death of a Black teenager who had forcefully accused of theft. When the verdict was announced, many people saw it as yet another example of a justice system that failed to protect Black lives. The reaction wasn't protest in the street. It wasn't property damage. It wasn't violent. Instead, many people made a different decision. They decided to stop spending their money. And that decision is now creating economic consequences that are impossible to ignore. Across social media, videos began appearing showing nearly empty stores in neighborhoods where black consumers have historically made up the majority of customers. Community members shared footage of parking lots with only a handful of cars and businesses that once thrived now struggling to attract customers. For supporters of the movement, this isn't about hate. They argue it's about accountability. Their position is simple. If communities generate enormous wealth through its spending power, that community has the right to decide where that money goes. And when people feel disrespected, ignored, or exploited, they can choose to invest somewhere else. Many activists point to a larger economic question. Why are many people business operating inside black communities without reinvesting significant into those communities? Why do billions of dollars leave this neighborhood every year while local black-owned business often struggle to secure investment, capital, and customer support? These questions aren't new. It's about understanding the power of collective spending. It's about recognizing that consumers have choice. At the same time, critics have raised concern. Some argued that holding an entire group of business owners responsible for the action of one individual is unfair. Others worried that both economic boycott can increase tension between communities that have historically faced discrimination themselves. These concerns have fueled intense debates online. But even among supporters of the movement, many say the focus should remain on system rather than ethnicity. They argue that the real issue is accountability, fairness, and whether businesses genuinely value the communities that sustain them. Perhaps one of the most significant lessons from this entire situation is the power of economic action. People often feel powerless when court decisions don't go the way they hoped. They feel powerless when political leaders ignore their concern. They feel powerless when the social media problem seems impossible to solve. But spending decisions are different. Every purchase is a choice. Every dollar is a vote. And when enough people make the same choice at the same time, the impact can be enormous. Whether you agree with the boycott or disagree with it, one thing is becoming clear. People are paying close attention to where their money goes. They are asking harder questions about community investment. They are thinking more carefully about who benefits from their spending. And those conversations may continue long after the headline fade away. The bigger question is this: should community use their economic power as a tool for accountability, or does that approach create more division than solution? Anyway guys, what do you think about this video? Drop your thoughts in the comment section and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and share the video to help the channel out. See you in my next video. For now, peace.